Hello, Navu NITW. (1997) April. Of course, there are a lot of stories before that, but this was a changing time in my life. I was somewhere in the heart of India, scorching weather, temperatures rising above 50 degrees centigrade. I was detailed for a platoon weapons course in the infantry school for officers from other arms and services. This is a very streamlined 6 weeks course which kind of makes you go through all the weapon system in the Indian Army, practically the small arms weapon system in the Indian Army. So it was a very unique scenario. I landed at the railway station and the staff at the reception desk was kind of shocked to see me. There was utter chaos. I walk up to them and I tell them, I've been detailed for this course, 6 weeks course, a weapons course with 80 male officers. And they tell me, Saab, this course is not for women officers. I didn't blame them because women had just started into the Indian Army, and before this, it was always done for the male officers. And I told him, Saab, it's okay, absolutely fine, but I'm not going back. I will complete this course and I'll go back. So after a lot of phone calls, left, right, center, to the higher echelons, they finally said, okay, Saab, you go ahead with the course. So the journey began. It was a grueling 6 weeks journey. And mind you, that time, we were not allowed a two-wheeler motorized vehicle in the campus. We had to carry, not just me, the other male officers as well. We had to carry a light machine gun on a bicycle. So I was deterred by saying that, will you be able to carry a light machine gun on a bicycle? I said, yes, of course, I'm a soldier. And there is no differentiation between a male officer and a woman officer. There are certain physical limitations, but we are all trained to do the same. We are all trained to fight for the same nation. And I had a wonderful set of 80 male officers, and we had a great course together, and finally I was able to successfully complete this 6 weeks of course. So it's not about completing the course, it's about what happened after that. So there was a lot of pressure for me to excel in the course, being the only woman officer. And I did reasonably well. I did not top the course. I was not interested in topping the course because there were stalwarts in my course, much more experienced officers who had done great wonders in the Indian Army. And once the course got over, I was asked to be a part of the Army Marksmanship Unit. So Army Marksmanship Unit is an elite shooting training establishment in the Indian Army under the Mission Olympic Wing. So what happens out here typically is that officers and other ranks from the Army are trained in the shooting category to win a medal in the Olympics. I was a good marksperson. I was good at shooting, so that's why I was offered. And it was a very tempting offer. I could win a medal. I could win an Olympic medal for the country, for the Army. But I think there were other things in store for me. So this is where I was caught up. Before I came for this course, I already had my posting order for the Army headquarters. I was to be a part of Indian Army's software development wing. And that time, the Army was riding on the automation wave. Being an engineer, it was what I was looking for. Best of both the worlds. I could be a part of the automation wave and at the same time carry out my military role. So I had to decide what to do. And I took the call. I decided to join the Army Headquarters unit, and I will further talk how it benefited me, how I felt that the decision I took was right. So it was a wonderful experience. We had officers from all arms and services of the Indian Army. It was a specialized wing. Great exposure. I was high on the automation wave. There were the big corporates from across who wanted to get inroads into the Indian Army, who wanted a big chunk of the pie. So great learning, wonderful exposure, which of course later helped me in my corporate career. As everything was going fine, life was good, there was a lot of learning happening, there was a lot of growth happening. In May 1999, the Kargil war happened. What all of you know as Operation Vijay, Operation Kargil. And everything came to a standstill. So Army Liaison Cell was a small but crucial unit formed under the Military Intelligence Directorate. And a select few officers from across the army was handpicked and inducted into this organization. And I would say I was fortunate to be a part of this core team. So Army Liaison Cell was the interface between the Indian Army Headquarters and the media. We at the Army ALC, Army Liaison Cell, were responsible for media reporting, for press briefs which went outside, for providing real-time, reliable information to both Indian and foreign media. Mind you, it was very important that point in time to convey the right information to the journalists. And at the same time, we were handling psychological operations. Because we all know what the enemy was doing on the other end. It was indeed a very daunting task, long hours of work, but a fantastic team of officers who worked day in and day out to convey the right information to the outside world. We were responsible to look after the army website because everybody wanted to know what was happening on the front. Everybody wanted to know about our soldiers, their families. So emotions were running high. The entire nation was charged up. This was the first war our generation had seen. And contributions were pouring in. That time we did not have UPI or Razorpay. So it all came through checks. Bags and bags of checks were pouring in for the families of our heroes. It was a very emotional moment. But of course, what we were doing was nothing compared to what our soldiers were braving at the front. So, at that moment in time, I realized that yes, I took the right call. And lot of things, lot of my beliefs along the way strengthened. I believed that gratitude matters, that patriotism matters, that sacrifices matter, that promises matter. I felt like a small speck in the vast universe. And what I was doing was actually nothing. This was the moment of truth for me. This was the moment when I felt that I took the right call. Way back in 1997, I took the right call. I had become, or rather I was like an instrument in the larger play of things. And it gave me a lot of satisfaction. So post Kargil, a lot of things changed. The way people perceived about the armed forces, the way the foreign media perceived about India and the armed forces, and of course our neighbors. And life went on. I continued riding on the automation wave. We somehow managed to get my husband a posting to Delhi. And in August 2001, we were blessed with parenthood. We had a little boy. And while everything was going fine, we were enjoying the highs and lows of parenthood. In 2001, 13th of December 2001, the Indian Parliament was attacked. Op Parakram was declared. Op Parakram was the longest military standoff along the Indo-Pak border, which lasted for almost 10 months, from December 2001 to October 2002. Everybody was recalled. People were recalled from their leaves. My husband had to move somewhere along the Western Theatre. I was on my maternity leave with a 3.5-year-old boy delivered through C-section. Once again, I was at the fork in the road. My posting was out for Kashmir in the Northern Command, and I had to take a call whether I should request for an extension of leave, and it was peak of winters, or I should answer the call of duty. We are all soldiers, and the choice is obvious. It is not about being a woman officer or a male officer. It is about doing what is right. It is about what we are trained to do. We are all soldiers, irrespective of being a woman or a male officer. So the choice was obvious. I packed my bags, bundled up my little one, and booked my ticket for the Northern Command. But what is important out here is to note that my family stood, our family stood. And it is very important in life to acknowledge the people who've stood for you. My mother, my husband's mother, they alternated. First my mother joined me at Udhampur, then my mother-in-law. And subsequently, my husband and I switched roles because we could not keep him for so long because he was a little one, very small, and the hours of work were long. Subsequently, my extended family, my father, my siblings, my sister, my brother, my brother's wife, they all supported in looking after our son. At the Northern Command, since I am a part of Corps of Signals, our duty was to provide seamless, uninterrupted communication during Op Parakram, right from the command headquarters till the smallest unit in the Northern Theatre. It was not easy. It was a challenging task because there were a whole lot of expectations. But I was fortunate to have a great commanding officer and a wonderful set of officers, my colleagues, my seniors, my juniors. It was a dream team. They understood the challenges that I was going through. They treated our mothers like their own mother. They looked after my son as their own son. And I was given standing instructions that the little one has to come down for all meals. He was in a pram. He has to come down for lunch and dinners. No exception. That we will get him down. Because where I was, my accommodation was on a higher floor. And I was told, we will get him down, so don't worry. So wonderful experience, wonderful. And that is what the services teach you. Camaraderie, bonding, like no other organization. So what I learned during Op Parakram was that discipline matters. It is the architect of success. You can cross mountains. That your health matters. Your body is the only place where you live in. And finally, people matter. Most importantly, people matter. It is always about we and never about me. They are the ones, they are your treasures. Nothing else in life. They will always stand by you. So what I realized in this 2/3 of my life's journey, till now, the roller coaster ride that I've had, the ups and downs, the joys and sorrows, the highs and lows, would be incomplete without the love and support of my family, my friends, my mentors, my colleagues, my juniors, my seniors, my classmates, my soul sisters. The list is endless. And of course, Almighty. So it is not about what you are or what you feel. It is about what you do. And that will take you a long way. It is not always that the choices you make are right. They could be wrong. But you learn from your mistakes. And you learn from people. And you learn to say thank you. Gratitude is very important. Acknowledgement of people who've made you what you are today is important. So I owe it to all of them. What I am today is because of all these people in my life. And before I close my talk today, I would like to quote 2 lines from a famous Hindi poet, Sri Dushyant Kumar. These lines have been an inspiration for me, and I have always followed them. He goes on to say, very simple lines, but a very deep meaning, and I think they have majorly influenced me in life. He goes on to say, कौन कहता है आसमां में सुराख नहीं हो सकता, एक पत्थर तो तबीयत से उछालो यारो. Thank you. Jai Hind.